Today, we are going to be talking about something we all experience but often avoid: fear. But what if I told you that fear doesn't necessarily have to hold you back? What if I told you that you can use fear as fuel to propel yourself into action? Today, we are going to be talking about the step-by-step techniques to normalize fear and use it as fuel to propel you into action. Have you ever heard of the cliche, do it afraid? Well, if you have, we are going to be breaking it down today in terms of understanding, embracing, and channeling fear into action. Let's get right into it. Fear is a natural human emotion. It's part of our survival mechanism. We all experience it on a day-to-day basis, but it can also be a roadblock for us when we want to do something great with our lives, whether it is fear of failure, fear of judgment, or fear of success. We all experience it in different ways. And yet, so many of us let fear control us, or worse, stop us from doing things we really want to do in our lives. I remember trying to make a decision about my life 2 years ago, and I was worried about making that decision. And one of my friends told me that you're making this decision from the place of fear. What is the worst thing that could happen? And I thought about it that yes, it does sound like I was making that decision from the place of fear. And I did make the decision. And trust me, it was an utter failure. But I am glad that I did make the decision at that point in time, because the next time I made another attempt, it was absolute success. So rather than seeing fear as a stop signal, maybe it is that you are on the edge of something great. You're at the edge of a breakthrough. Rather than allowing fear make you remain in your comfort zone, why don't you do it afraid so that you can move to where growth really happens, which is outside of the comfort zone? So let's break it down. How do you embrace fear? The first thing is to acknowledge it. Acknowledge it and name it. That's the first thing. Most of the time, we want to push it aside or ignore it or pretend that it doesn't even exist. But when we do that, what we are essentially doing is that we are giving it more power that it really needs. We are giving it a very big power, and we let it hold us back, especially when we are managing it in secrecy. So acknowledge it as a normal emotion. I see you, you're there. The moment you acknowledge fear, you are already taking power away from it. And you're able to know that, yes, you're just an emotion. You cannot stop me from moving forward. After acknowledging fear, the next thing is to understand it. Where is this fear coming from? What is the source of this fear? From my experience, my personal life and working as a psychiatrist, I know that fear comes from the place of uncertainty. For a lot of us, it usually comes from the place of uncertainty, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, even the fear of success. So ask yourself, what is the source of this fear? That's question one. And then have a journal. It's always good to have a journal to document your responses to this pertinent question that you should ask yourself whenever fear is trying to hold you back from moving forward. What is the worst thing that could happen? That's the second question. So what? So what? And then what? What's the worst thing that could happen? And the third question is, can I overcome it? Can I overcome this worst case scenario? What's the worst case scenario? Can I overcome it? And the fourth question is, if I cannot overcome the worst case scenario, can I live with it? If you can answer this fourth question, then you go right ahead and make that decision within the next 24 hours. I want to challenge you. Do not delay. If you're stuck because of fear, answer these 4 questions and make a decision right away. Step 3. If you're unable to make a decision by asking yourself those 4 questions, then my next suggestion for you is to reframe the fear. Instead of seeing it as fear, which is holding you back, reframe it as excitement. I am excited to do this. What excitement does is that it gives you the right feeling, which is really similar to fear. You have this knot in your stomach, this racing heart about a decision that you have to make or something that you need to do. But the difference between fear and excitement is that excitement brings momentum, and that momentum propels you forward into taking action. So if you're unable to answer, what's the worst case scenario? Reframe the fear as excitement, and that will propel you into taking action. Step 4, take small, consistent actions. This is where the rubber meets the road. Fear keeps us paralyzed. Oh, it's too big, it's too risky, it's too dangerous, it's too expensive. But rather than seeing it as this big thing that you're trying to get done, break it down into small steps and take small steps every day. 1% better every day. One of my takeaways from the book Atomic Habits by James Clear is take small, consistent action. I'm reading another book at the moment, The Richest Man in Babylon, and Akkad shared that most people who take actions are met by luck. So for a lot of people, you see, they're lucky, they're lucky, they're lucky. But it's really not about luck. It's because they take small actions every day. Somebody who consistently take actions, there is no way you would eventually not get lucky. So take small, consistent action and you would see the fear begin to melt away. Think of it like dipping your toes into a very cold pool. At first, it feels shocking, but as you ease into it, it gets better. So you really do not have to take giant leaps. You just need to take small actions, and before you know it, your fear begins to melt away. Step 5, celebrate progress. Celebrate your little wins. Be grateful, show gratitude. I have realized that a lot of us, we overestimate what we can achieve in a year, but we underestimate what we can achieve in 5 years. When you push through fear, whether it's starting YouTube, starting a side hustle, having a difficult conversation with your boss, having a difficult conversation with your partner, celebrate the little win because you're building a new relationship with fear, and that is empowering and forward moving. The more you celebrate the little wins, the more confident you would be to tackle the bigger ones, and before you know it, you're at a better place. So let's recap. Fear doesn't have to hold you back. Once you reframe your mind, fear can actually be the fuel that propels you into action. Here's how. Acknowledge the fear by naming it. Understand the source of the fear. Is it fear of failure? Is it fear of judgment? Is it fear of complaint? Is it fear of even success? It can be that overwhelming sometimes. Then reframe it. Reframe fear as excitement. Take small actions and celebrate your little wins. You are in a stage of decision fatigue out of fear. I want you to take action immediately after watching this video. Within the next 24 hours, once you're able to answer the question, what is the worst case scenario? Can I overcome it? If no, can I live with it? I want you to make a decision and let me know how it goes. But remember that fear is not a soft sign. It's a signal that you're about to do something important, because your worst case scenario almost always never happens. So rather than seeing fear as a stop sign, see it as a green light to move forward. That's it for today's episode, guys. I hope you found this conversation helpful. If so, please hit the subscribe button, share it with your friends, and let me know in the comment section, what is the decision that you are making today? And I'll be here to share you on. Until next time, next week, stay fit and healthy. Bye for now.